Today, let's talk about NPCs, non-playable characters. And this has to do with this video right here. I made a video 5 days ago called One Piece live action VV drama is crazy. You don't have to know the context of this, right? All you need to know is that in a show called One Piece that a lot of you are familiar with, there is a character on the right side, Vivi, and her skin color? White. That's right, light skin, right? And then the skin color of the live action actress? Dark. And then your default NPC response should be DEI. DEI woke. I can't believe they were doing this. The Disney Hollywood added again, DEI cast. How could they do this to me? This is the common sentiment being spread about by a lot of people, which I still think is a vocal minority. I think a lot of people who are actual One Piece fans are not the ones crying about this. It's a bunch of people who are brainwashed by this propaganda that has some partial truth to it. I want to break it down. There's a lot of comment in here that was basically screaming and crying about the skin color of this actress, whom, by the way, the author of the manga picked, right? One Piece live action, Eiichiro that literally handpicks the actors and actresses to what they envision embodies the spirit of those characters, okay? If this was any other show, I would absolutely agree with you that this is a DEI cast. Now, in the video, which is really, really frustrating because I don't go with emotional arguments. I'm a very cold, logical person. I don't give a fuck about your feelings. I only care about the evidence presented and try to give the most genuine, authentic response that I can. And in this video, I literally unpack, why do people yell DEI? Why do people get mad at the skin, color changing? Well, first of all, yeah, it does make a lot of sense that like if you have naturally a light skin tone character, it's not even necessarily the skin tone. You could even say like the hair color too. If they casted like an orange hair color character for Vivi, like what the fuck does that make sense? Some people will then go on and then basically compare, characters like this, One Piece, Usopp, and say, ain't nobody fucking talking about how Usopp's, nose is not, There's this example, right? How Usopp's nose basically is like Pinocchio, if you don't know. That's a little ridiculous to say that like Usopp needs to have a long nose like that. And then there's also like, Sanji, right? If you don't know, there's a character named Sanji, and Sanji also has like a curly eyebrow thing, which is actually plot relevant, I think. I don't know. Some people are making fun of jokes about theories about this eyebrow, but okay. Those are like minor facial traits, or let's say like little features that, you could apply makeup or different things about. It's a little ridiculous though. But aside from that, right? Aside from this argument that like, oh my god, what if they made her hair orange? It's more about the skin tone, right? And it is a drastic change. Of course people are going to get upset about it. Not necessarily because they're racist, right? I don't believe that everyone that is crying about this change is racist. But like everything in the real world, nothing exists in absolutes. Everything exists in a spectrum. And I think a lot of people, especially the ones that the actress also screenshot all the fucking hate and the racism and posted on, their like Instagram stories. It's funny how like One Piece, quote unquote, One Piece fans are turning into this right here. A little bit of a spoiler, but basically there's an entire fucking class of people called the Tenryubito, right, in One Piece, that are the most racist, the most fucking obnoxious people, and they exist in the story to tell you a story. The Oda wants to tell you a story about prejudice, discrimination, and stuff. And I think that a lot of people coming in with this racist take are not actual One Piece fans. They just simply see headlines, and because they've been just whipped up in a frenzy due to, again, existing precedents. Race washing has been happening for a long time in Hollywood. Little Mermaid example is something that I give you immediately, right? And the context of this is the fact that sometimes people will intentionally pick very, very volatile and very, very like controversial like incidents to like basically market their product further. I do believe that The Little Mermaid, and I think a better example could be actually this. And I am the first person to even like not the first person, but I was very critical about this. But of course, these are tourists that's coming in here that has no idea what I'm about. And in this video, basically, this is another example where there's an anime called Kakegurui. And in Kakegurui, it's basically an anime about gambling. We haven't seen it yet, but basically, you go there and you gamble. And if you lose, you become a slave, literally. Netflix decided to do a live action cast to this. And they intentionally picked black actors and actresses. And this is from the trailer. This is not edited footage. This is from their trailer, okay? I don't even need to explain to you what is happening here. But you can clearly see that this is a very obvious example of them intentionally casting black people in a role where they know that outrage is going to happen and they want to basically rage bait you and get the marketing and get the publicity out because this is something that people are going to talk about, right? And this is one incident. There's many other incidents where this has happened in many other shows, movies, whatnot, and I've brought you examples already. I think Kakegurui is just one of the best examples here, where they try to basically, they want to be inclusive. They want to be politically correct, and this is their definition of inclusion. They think that by casting black people in these roles, when they clearly know what's going to happen to them, is them being inclusive, and if anyone dare criticize this, you are racist. That's right. It is one of the most obnoxious and annoying things that happens when people try to use racism and inclusivity and weaponize it. They basically like hold black people and they think about like this. This is a ridiculous scenario, but like basically they're taking a bunch of black people and wearing them as their armor. And they, I mean like the producers, the motherfuckers that know what they're doing. The ones that intentionally chose this. They then use them as armor and says, oh my God, why are you hating this? You're racist. I can't believe you would hate a black person. Or AKA, or the other example, right? I can't believe you would hate a woman. You're a misogynist. You're a racist if you ever dare criticize these. And in these examples, why the fuck are they black? People aren't mad that like these actors or actresses are black. People are mad that they're intentionally picking black people into these positions where they know that they're gonna rage bait people. Right? And because of this happening over and over again, people are whipped up in a frenzy and now they can't even see the truth anymore. They can't properly think and critically think about the evidence that's presented. And immediately they will say DEI, they're going woke. I can't believe you are defending this. And it's so frustrating to me because this is an NPC response. I think that anyone can see the logic presented and understand that this is different scenario compared to these two scenarios that I've provided, right? And the reason for that is, in Kakegurui, I don't think there is literal like reasons for these actors or actresses to be black. They don't have to be all white, they don't have to be all Asian, but I'm just saying there's a very clear intent in what they're doing. And same with The Little Mermaid too. In The Little Mermaid, I don't fucking know about the lore of it, right? They're just underground fucking mythical creatures. Who cares if they're white or black? It doesn't really matter. In this situation though, right? A little bit of spoiler, not really. Basically, this region, Alabasta, right? This has like heritage roots to like Egypt, Middle East, India for some reason, I don't know. And yeah, these are fictional places. Alabasta does not exist in the fucking real world. One Piece chose some inspiration from different continents. It doesn't have to be one specific region. And they picked, okay, that. And some people are saying, well, you know, the royalties, right? Because this is a princess, you know, and even the royalties rarely go outside and they're constantly sheltered inside, therefore they're pale skin. Yeah, sure. I get that. But you can also argue that like this person, who is also an Indian actress, by the way, she's not black, okay? She's not black, she is Indian, which I think is so funny that a lot of people immediately get baited and cry over and over again about, oh my God, black woman replacing our Queen Vivi. This is so woke. No, she's Indian. There's also some other people arguing in the comments about, I can't believe this is not the right type of brown. Basically there's levels to basically the racist commentary, and at the very surface level the normies are just arguing, oh my god, they're black, and some people are saying no, she's actually Indian. When you get really to the nitty gritty, the Middle Eastern people are actually arguing in the comment section that I can't believe you think right over here. Watching this video as a Middle Eastern, I'm extremely shocked that Westerners don't know that white-skinned Indian, Egyptian, Middle Easterns exist. As a white Middle Eastern myself, it's kind of offensive that people always completely choose to ignore the fact that we exist and associate the entire region as brown skin or black. Well, that's what happens when you have majority people being that skin tone and not everybody being fucking aware of it, especially Americans. Do you expect the average American education system? They can't even point to your fucking region when they point at a map, okay? But there's some other stuff happening here too. And I just think that it's so fucking ridiculous when you have all these different cultural precedences that points to this character being this shade of color being viable, right? Just logically thinking doesn't make sense. If they casted, let's say, an Asian woman here, I don't think people will be upset. Straight up. It's not even a crazy take. I think if a pale-skinned Asian woman was casted as Vivi, I don't think anyone would be upset. At least not to this degree. Anyone is a ridiculous statement because it's everybody. But if it was a pale, like, Asian woman, I think most people will be like, yes, Queen Vivi, let's get it. I think obviously it's the skin tone being dark that really, really fucking pisses people off. And I just need you to understand, the actress, right? The actress was literally chosen by the author themselves, right? Like, One Piece live action Oda picking, actors, right? This is a real thing where Oda confirms his involvement, right? There's a lot of different like articles and stuff like that. This is just some random ass article, but like the person himself literally picked it. This is not like Netflix or Disney or any other like for example, this is not like corporate suits thinking, you know what, make them a black and a woman and then put it in there because I know it's gonna get outraged. No. The author themselves literally picked it. So now if we combined all of these different variables together, right, where the lore precedence of that region makes sense with the skin tone of this actress, and then Oda hand-picking all these different casted people and picked this specific person over perhaps other fucking, different, like, I'm sure there's many different lighter skin tone color, people too that did this. And Oda said, you know what? This is the person that embodies Princess Vivi, the one who ran away from her, not ran away, but escaped, the prejudice that's happening in Alabasta due to Crocodile's rule, who infiltrated Crocodile's Baroque works in order to, basically be a spy and to bring them down from within, right? I think all of that combined together makes sense that this is not a DEI woke situation happening. But the NPCs, bro, they don't think. And it's kind of not it is and it isn't their fault, because the average person is so fucking stupid. The average person is so ridiculously stupid that they will listen to real things that's happened, but then apply that to everything and won't even do their due diligence. And they see a fucking random tweet and then they start hating on her for the skin tone. And it's so sad. It's so sad that like we're in an era where like people don't think anymore. Nobody has an attention span. Nobody, by the way, what the people listening to my commentary in this video right now, you're probably not the ones that's even making these comments either. Like again, everybody that commented hateful shit in this comment, which I pretty much banned already, they didn't even watch the video. No one bothers to actually read or listen or study what's happening. They just go off of headlines and they just fucking say shit. And unfortunately, that's the kind of generation that we live in. I think, again, if you truly are sitting here saying that like, okay, I've been trying to ignore this for the longest time, but there's motherfuckers fucking... I just want you to understand how utterly fucking retarded this is, that you've been having a fucking argument for 15 fucking minutes during this recording sections about Lord of the Mysteries. Like, the disrespect is fucking unreal. I'm just gonna ban you. I'm gonna ban you. I'm gonna ban every single person that's participated in this, bro. I'm gonna ban you. Who else? I'm gonna ban you. God, the fucking lack of fucking respect for anything. 15 fucking minutes, bro. These motherfuckers literally just arguing over and over again. And I want you to realize these motherfuckers also just all have like 20 messages in chat. Bunch of fucking new retards. Thank you, absolutely a spud for the prime, by the way. I appreciate that, man. It's fucking ridiculous how you spent the entire fucking recording of this video just arguing amongst your retard ass. I'm just gonna permanently ban you because one of the most fucking annoying thing is when I'm trying to fucking make a video about this and form my fucking thoughts. And you retards are just genuinely all in here, just arguing about the most pointless, unrelated bullshit over and over and over again. Go fuck yourselves, every single one of you. It's so fucking annoying. It's so unbelievably fucking annoying. Holy shit. None of you deserve this content. Basically, let's go back to it. TLDR, this is a ridiculous case where people are whipped up in a frenzy and just simply want to be racist by going off of headlines. Not everyone is upset due to race reasons. I do believe that a lot of it is race reasons, but it's simply because obviously the skin tone is completely different. I personally think that this skin tone is the worst choice you could have picked though for blue hair. That's just a fact to me. I think that like these kind of like blue, this kind of hair style with this skin tone is aesthetically very unpleasing, straight up. I think that's a fucking very fair criticism. The other point of like, you know, making fun of like, what's it called? There's some other people complaining about like, I can't believe this isn't the right shade of brown or like the right heritage. Let me bring you this, right? Basically, One Piece live action, what's it called? Luffy, right? Because I think that for Zoro, they did a right job if you're gonna talk about like heritage. Zoro is from, here's some spoilers, right? He literally is from a country that is supposed to be Japanese, right? And he is like Japanese, right? His like the live actor. If you look at that person's like what's his name? If you look at that, what does it say? Yeah. Japanese American actor. So like that's probably one of the most like lore accurate ones you could get. This one is a bit more interesting though if you go to Luffy. If you go to Luffy, basically the actor for Luffy is Mexican. But if you go to like one, and I don't know how true this is. Luffy was technically supposed to be Brazilian, I think. Eiichiro Oda, the creator of One Piece, has stated that if Luffy were real, he would be Brazilian nationality according to Wikipedia. Assuming that this is true, then like this is the same argument of like, okay, a Mexican person is playing a Brazilian person. So like motherfuckers in these comment sections, you know, arguing about, oh my god, I can't believe she's not Egyptian. I can't believe she's not like this other race within Middle East. I can't believe she's Indian. I think that's a bit ridiculous, right? Because again, Alabasta is not a real place. There is a lot of different inspirations within this continent that spans across many other places in the Middle East, including India, which is obviously not Middle East. But I'm just saying, like, it's a bit ridiculous when you're arguing about the most pointless shit. I'm trying to argue that this is not a diversity cast. The literal mangaka picked this person because she was the best for this role. And on top of that, she has like lore relevance reasons for being this skin tone. And if you actually think that like this is a woke decision comparable to fucking Kakegurui, I think you're really, really stupid. I think you're incredibly ignorant. You've been caught up in fucking culture wars and identity politics so much that you can't even think properly. You're not critically thinking about the evidence presented, and you're just screaming shit like an NPC. You have like a, what's it called? I think that you have a, you're programmed basically, right? Again, rather than critically thinking, you hear something, you see something, pattern recognition. Oh my god, black woman DEI hire, right? Oh my god, misogynist. It's just so fucking cringe to me. And I wish that people would change, but like, no matter what I do, no one's gonna change. I'm basically preaching to the choir and farming some views and just ranting for the sake of it because it's fun to do. But like, again, the average population is gonna get dumber and dumber and dumber, and there's like nothing you can do about it. And we're going into the era where AI is going to get more and more prevalent. More people are basically not going to think using their heads. Everyone is just going to be just like, again, critical logical thinking, reasoning, deduction skills. It's all fucking gone. Everything is just baited headlines and motherfuckers being disingenuous and people trying to grift and use their propaganda to push the narratives, and then the masses eating that shit up to the point where you have something like this happen and people say woke DEI. Come on, bro. What are we fucking doing here, bro? What are we fucking doing here? And I guarantee you motherfuckers are gonna be in this video too, complaining and crying about, oh my god, this is still such a bad pick, because they don't even watch the video. Nobody actually watches a video. Of course they're not gonna fucking watch the video. And I'm surrounded by a bunch of crazy motherfuckers, but it's alright. I know that the people actually listening understand what I'm saying, and I just beg to you, please, like, think about the evidence presented. If Oda was not involved in this project, if Oda was not involved in this and basically was... If Oda was not involved in this and Netflix did this shit, I would say yes. I would say woke. I would say DEI cast. I would. Because I think, again, Netflix specifically has been involved in many, many bullshit like this. But just because the mangaka is in there, added on top of that again with the lore relevance with Alabasta, I think that this actress being this is perfectly fine. I'm going in circles now. Bye-bye.